Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is my Buy This, Not That indie brand eyeshadow palettes. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Welcome again to another installment of Eyeshadow Palette Week. And I thought as part of Eyeshadow Palette Week, we could do a Buy This, Not That indie eyeshadow brand edition, you could say. I've been doing this with different categories in my makeup collection, and I figured that for Eyeshadow Palette Week, we could do it all about my favorite and not so favorite indie brands. So this isn't about the eyeshadow palettes themselves particularly, but it's more so like the vibe I get from the brand and whether I will be testing anything else out. So we're gonna do the bottom 5, so my least favorite indie brands first, and then we'll do my top 5 favorites, because I definitely have preferences and they may not be yours. But this is just how I feel about these brands. I've been testing out makeup for more than a decade, so I definitely have different opinions sometimes from other people, I should say. The first brand on the list, you guys know this about me, is Oden's Eye. I have a few Oden's Eye palettes that I really enjoy and that I rate highly, but it's their older stuff. I feel since they've changed their formula, ever since they started doing the square pans, I just feel there's been a change in the quality, and there seem to be batch issues mainly because some people love their palettes, and then I hear other people saying the same as I do, saying things like, I didn't love this. So I'm not sure if I just got a bad batch or if that's the case, but I still love my Solomona. This is one of my favorites from the brand. This is no longer made because they could no longer source the ingredients for the shades. I love this thing to pieces. It's one of my favorite summer palettes and it's been that way for years now. But I've just stopped buying Oden's Eye because as much as I love their color stories, like, they always get me. I look at their color stories when it's being released and I'm like, oh, I want that. But the quality just hasn't been there for me. Their mattes are beautiful, but it's especially in the shimmer department that I feel I can no longer trust the brand. So that's why Oden's Eye is definitely in my I would not buy this list. Now this may come as a bit of a shocker because the next brand is very popular with a lot of people, but I have my reasons for not loving this brand anymore, and that's Blend Bunny Cosmetics. Now I want to say that this is not my favorite, not because of their formula. Their formula is one of the best ones on the market, so that's why I don't say don't buy this. For me, it's the color stories, and especially the ratio of mattes and shimmers that we get in these palettes. The Longing is one of my favorites from the brand. It's one that I've kept around because I just love this cool tone color story so much. It only has 5 shimmers though, and I'm a shimmer girl at heart. I really enjoy like at least a 50-50 split between mattes and shimmers, so I always say with Blend Bunny, I want more shimmers. Is this beautiful though? Yes, but I also feel that with a lot of Blend Bunny palettes, they're going to work really well if you have medium to deep skin, but on my fair skin, a lot of these deeper tones just don't work. Like, I can use them in the row that they belong, but if I swatch them all together, on my skin tone, there just isn't enough distinction between those really deep shades. And it's not the first time that I've had that issue with a Blend Bunny palette, because the Dollhouse had a full row of these deep shades and they all just look black on me. So I think it has to do with my skin tone, why I don't love this more, and the fact that I just prefer shimmers over mattes in terms of what I want my palettes to have to offer. So that's why I don't love Blend Bunny anymore. But like I said, the actual quality of the shadow is really good. Another brand where I'm like, is the price point justified? And I find it very difficult with Adept. This is the Adept and Amy Loves palette. I was sent a new Adept palette in PR by Monolith last week because the Emo palette is one that looks really stunning to me, and I want to try again to see if I love it anymore. But with Adept, the reason why I find it so difficult to recommend them and say like, yes, go out and buy this. I mean, you just heard me say that I want more shimmers than mattes. So then you'd think that with a palette like this, I would be very much pleased with what this has to offer. But then with Adept, I don't get the mattes to go with the shimmers. So there are 5 mattes in here, and of which 2 of them look identical on my lids, and every single shade in this, like shimmer shade in this palette, has some form of blue. So all of these are blue. This is blue. This is blue. Like everything has blue. Why do I get so little difference in terms of what these shimmers have to offer? And another reason why I feel very cautious about recommending Adept is because I think the new emo palette on Monolith goes for over 90 euros, which is a lot of money. And I've had a couple of Adept palettes for some time now, and the Minka in the original edition, because I bought it when it released, has already expired. Because these shades are incredibly emollient, and I feel there's just something in the formula that makes these eyeshadows expire really quickly. If I paid this much money for an eyeshadow palette, I want it to last in my eyeshadow collection for 10 years, because I want to get the use out of it. But if something expires within two to 3 years of purchasing it, is it then worth it to be paying this much money? It's that I was now able to get something in PR that I'm like, okay, I'll try it, I'll test it out to see how much I like it. But with Adept, I've just been incredibly cautious because I just find them a little bit too expensive for what you get. When it comes to that price point, I definitely feel the same goes for Ensley Rain. There is a reason why the Light in Your Eyes is going to be one of the last things I try from the brand. I've determined for myself that this is not my favorite formula, and the brand just has tons of issues as well. So there's also like another reason why I feel like, should I still talk about this brand? But also formula wise, like on paper, this has everything I want. It has a shimmer for every single matte it has. It has beautiful shimmers that have an array of textures and like undertones, and it's not too samey, yet still, when I play with this, I don't get the longevity out of it. It's cheap cardboard packaging. Yes, it is magnetized, so you can take the shades out if you want. But another reason why I don't love this any more than everybody else does is because this creases on me. I have hooded deep set eyes. I don't have a lot of lid space. This, even with my double priming method, because I double prime my lids. Yes, I use 2 eyeshadow primers, and this still creases on me. For how expensive this is. Because again, this retails for, I think, 85 euros on Monolith. I got mine in PR, so I was really, really lucky. But I don't think it's worth it. Like, in my top 5, you'll find brands that I feel give the same impact, give a similar look on the lids, but it does stay put for me. And it doesn't expire like the Adept. So for me, with how expensive this brand is and everything else that's going on, I just don't feel comfortable saying, yes, go out and buy this. And finally, I have Unearthly Cosmetics on this like bottom 5 half of the listing. This is the Dreamer palette. This was one that a lot of people told me to try in their new formula. I have plenty of Unearthly palettes, but I started buying them back when they were still called Alien Cosmetics. And I like my older palettes better than I do this. The shimmers in this newer style are very hard pressed and they don't pick up with a brush. I have a similar issue with some of the Ensley Rain stuff and with the Adept stuff. It works better with fingers or like a sponge tip applicator or something like that. But if you do that, it's very difficult to blend. And I want my shimmers to initially go on with a brush. Like the initial laydown, I want it to be with a brush because of how my eyelids just work. And with this, I can't do that. Is it beautiful? Yes, it's stunning. It's got the cool tones. You have these warmer rosy tones. It's really beautiful. I love the way this looks. We get enough shimmers, enough mattes. Again, on paper, this ticks all the boxes of what I look for in a palette. But I just feel ever since trying this, that the new Unearthly formula just isn't for me. And with the formula change, they've also become more expensive. And I think this was like 70 euros or so. So compared to Ensley Rain and Adept, these are still a little bit more affordable. But again, I just feel that there are brands that charge this much that work better for me. So that's just the way I feel. If you feel differently, that's absolutely fine, especially for all of these. But this is just based off of my preferences. And then my top 5 is going to, of course, be led by Fenty Cosmetica. This brand in my brain can do no wrong. I did feel they had a bit of a fluke with the, what was it, Enchanted Autumn, their collab palette with Amanda from Makeup Just for Fun, that I felt wasn't as good. It didn't blend the same way. I felt the shimmers didn't lay down the same way that I'm used to from them. But then they did the Harvest of Souls and they completely like made up to me. But their 9 pans are especially good. I don't have the full collection. Part of me wants to, but something like the Monk that they came out with earlier in the year with all those yellows, I know I won't wear it. But the Rogue, on the other hand, it's grungy, it's blue, greens, and purples, it's got duochromes, it's got beautiful mattes, it has depth, but it's light enough at the same time, everything mixes and matches, it's near perfection in a 9 pan, and it has an amazing formula. The mattes are blendable, the shimmers pick up with a brush, yet you can intensify it with your fingers where you want to, and it ticks all the boxes. And I'm not sure anymore how much the 9 pans currently are, but I also feel possibly because they are 9 pans. I mean, some people will come into the comments and say that Ensley Rain is so expensive because you get 21 shades. I don't need 21 shades if you're this good. Okay? It shouldn't take you 21 shades in a palette to create a good palette. If you can do it in 9 and charge a little less, I'm going to be far more appealed to be buying your shadows. And that's definitely the case with Fenty Cosmetica. But in 2024, they did start to go into a realm of like slightly larger palettes. We got 2 12 pans and we got a 16 pan. But they came out with the Monk this year, so I'm hoping that we get some more 9 pans. I'm hoping for a witchy themed one. That's my hope, that's going to be their next sort of like fairy tale character that they do. Oh well. Next up is Glossgods. So we're sticking to the 9 pans for a minute here. Glossgods is EU based, so that's why it's quite affordable for me to buy, even though their shipping did go up. The last time I ordered from them a few months ago, their shipping was a bit more expensive than I remember it being. But that could just be like, with what's going on in the world, that could just be an effect of that. But the baseline of the eyeshadow palettes, to purchase them isn't as expensive as some other indie brands. These retail for around 20 euros, which I think is pretty reasonable. And if you then see what you get inside, I mean, you get a flaky in here. I mean, Ensley Rain also does flakies, and everybody's saying how wonderful they are. This one picks up with a brush. Enough said, okay? We also get only 3 mattes and 6 shimmers in a 9 pan. I know what I like. Really beautiful shimmers in here, impactful mattes, easy to blend, and it's like a fifth of what you pay at Adept. It just is. And I like this better. So, do with that what you wish. Another brand that I feel is far more affordable, but that's also really good at giving you really impactful shimmer shades and all that, is Glossgods. And Glossgods does an array of things. They do really stunning neutral palettes like the one I'm holding up today, but they also do what they like to call effects palettes, where they show, like, they just have a bunch of shimmers in. Their newest Dancing Lights, it's still on the wish list, you guys. I can't get it out of my brain. So maybe in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be ordering that palette because I love their formula. It's very small, like, packaging. I dropped mine, unfortunately, so it looks a bit messy. But the new Neutrals was my first Glossgods palettes that I tried, and this made me fall in love with the brand. It has really, really nice mattes. Again, they tend to do, even in the palettes that do have mattes, there are more shimmers than there are mattes, and these have duochromes in as well, and flakies. and they're 40 to 45 euros each. I think the Dancing Lights is a little bit more expensive because that's a 15 pan and it has multi-chromes in, but Glossgods has such beautiful formula. It's easy to work with. It's blendable. You can create very everyday looks with it, but then you add one of the multi-chromes and it becomes much more dimensional, and you can like go clubbing. Like you could travel with a palette like this and it would be fine. And because the packaging isn't like super delicate or interesting, I wouldn't mind wrecking this palette at all. Like it's not that much money to have to replace it if it were to break or anything like that, like mine did. That's why it's messy. But yeah, this is great. And if we're doing cardboard packaging, like I don't need it to be this thick. I don't need it to be like magnetic or anything like that. This is just fine by me. Speaking of something that's just fine by me in terms of packaging, Cosmic Beauty. I'm holding up the Serenity palette. I wanted to show you the Winter Wonderland, but I left it downstairs and I was in the midst of filming another video. I was like, I'll just roll with it, because with Cosmic Beauty, it doesn't matter which palette you get. If the color story appeals to you, you're gonna find yourself a good palette. The quality of this is so incredibly consistent, and they have gone up in price a little bit. Like this one was £20, I think. When I purchased it, it was like 25 euros, and now they're like 40 to 45. But we get more shimmers, we get multi-chromes in, and they do so many great color stories. Like this is a little bit more vibrant, but you get your blues, your greens, and your purples in. The Winter Wonderland also has that vibrancy, but then they also do the Undergrowth, which is this really nice grungy vibe. Or something like the Neutrals, which I really enjoyed, which is these warmer tone neutrals, but there are also some like spicy things in there that makes it look a little bit more interesting. Part of me still wants to get the Muse. I don't know if they still do that one, but that's like the one thing from my collection that's sort of missing, you know? So they're doing loads of really good things, and I think Cosmic Beauty just has so many great things to offer. You get 20 pans in every single eyeshadow palette they do. I'm going to be testing out the Lovers palette really soon. That was sent to me in PR by Monolith, and it looks really stunning. So yeah, with Cosmic Beauty, I really feel like they do such a good thing. And where some indie brands are just really expensive for how many shades you get, this keeps it quite affordable and still gets you really impactful shadows. So again, it doesn't have to be 90. Indie brands don't have to charge 90 euros for a good palette, you guys. They just don't. And Cosmic Beauty is another brand that shows that. The next brand is one where I've really shifted opinion from not liking it all that much when I first tried them to now they have been doing a rebrand and I like it a lot better. And that is Bella Beauté Bar. I've been trying out some of their more recent palettes and like them so much better. So I first tried the Smoky Glam, which, like the Ensley Rain palettes, it's big. It was like 25 shades, I think. And it was just big and bulky, and it didn't really fit into a drawer. And even though this is still like, is this 16 or 20? This is 20 pans. But look at, like, it's about the size of the Serenity palette. So this fits into a drawer. It's nice and slim. It still feels heavy. I think this is still magnetized as well. I mean, and it's 20 shades, and this is like 75. Much more reasonable. You also get holographic shades in here. It's impactful, beautiful, blendable mattes. We get a little bit more shimmers than you get in some of the other things that were in my bottom 5. Not as many as I'd like. I'd like one or two more. Maybe. But I love the Poison Garden. This made me fall in love with them so hard. Last fall, I was trying it out. You get your cool tones, you get warm tones, you get pops of color, you get rosy things, you get like green tone things. Like it has everything. And this is like spicy neutrals. It's grungy. It can be neutral if you want to, but it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? So I like it because it fuses my love for colorful things together with my love for the neutrals, and then it has all the sparkly bits. Because essentially, I'm a magpie at heart. So Bella Beauté Bar is a brand that I've more recently fallen in love with. And yeah, this is, like, since this one, like, I bought the Realm of Fairies, and then Monolith offered to send me the Green Goddess in PR. So I'm going to be testing that one out soon, and they're now one of my favorites. So yes, I'm not against changing my opinion in brands, as you can tell, if they certainly do something that I like better. Now again, like I said, if the bottom half of this video were your favorites, then I hope you're not too offended. It's makeup after all. It's only makeup after all, and we all have different opinions. We have different lids, we have different texture, we have different skin. Everything is subjective, and these are just the things that, based on my experience, work better for me. And I just feel that after all of the makeup I've tried, I just know that just because it's expensive doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It just isn't. It really isn't, people. So yeah, that's why I rate some of the indie brands that charge a little bit less much higher than the brands who say like, oh, we have this really wonderful formula. And I'm like, I can't even pick it up with a brush. Why is it so amazing to you guys? I just don't get that bit, because makeup is, you know, you can apply it with fingers. I mean, there are no rules to makeup, but I like to be able to apply it with brushes because of my eye shape. So that's definitely what went into this video as well. So thank you so very much for joining me here today. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I still have some more videos left in Eyeshadow Palette Week, so like stay tuned for more, and I hope to see you again really, really soon with a new video. Bye-bye.